Hi there, my name's Daniel from Transcona Trailer Sales. I'm going to be walking you through your 2023 Intech Luna. We're just going to start off the back of the unit here. You're going to pop these latches open, and you will be able to open up the back of the unit. You open this up, and you do get your little kitchen area. Start off right on the wall here. You do have access to your main lights and your accent lights. Turning on that main light switch just turns on that light right above your head there. And the accent light's turning on all the blue lights you see inside. Your main GFI plug is also located right below that. You got test on the bottom, reset at the top. If you ever have an outlet that doesn't work, that would be the first place I would check just to make sure it's not tripped. You have your water pump switch right on that left button there. You turn that switch on. It's going to turn your water pump on, which draws from your fresh water tank. And then you just have your 12-volt fridge button. So if you turn that switch on, it's going to activate the 12-volt plug located behind this cooler here. Get this cooler out. You just undo that travel latch. Do this back. You will notice that you do have this little 12-volt plug-in as well as two 110 plug-ins. And you have two plug-ins on your cooler. Inside the cooler is where we include this little box here. You open this up and you do have the 12-volt plug-in as well as some mounting hardware for a handle on this side if you were to want it. The only reason it's not installed is I'm not sure if this closes with that on. So whenever this is plugged in, it will be running off 12 volts. So if you have that switch on while you're towing your in your tow vehicle with your tow vehicle connected, this will be on. The buttons for operating this are just located at the back here. If you do notice, you just got a power button. You're going to hit that power button on, and if this was charged up, it does have its own little battery pack inside of it. And then you do have your temperature up and down button, and you do have a set button. And that is about it for this. Inside here is just some storage. And then you do have your sink. Below your sink, you do get access to where this little box here is where your battery is housed, as well as your battery disconnect. With the battery disconnect off, the batteries are connected to the unit. With the battery disconnect on, the batteries are connected to the, with the battery disconnect off, the batteries are connected to the unit. And with the battery disconnect on, the batteries become disconnected from the unit. This back valve here is your fresh tank drain. So if you turn this, it will start draining your fresh tank, which drains just in front of your feet here through this little hole in the floor. These valves here are for winterization, for bypassing the system and activating your little antifreeze hose. And you will notice this black line coming down. That is the drain for the sink. The sink does not have a holding tank. That little cap, this little black cap here, you just loosen this off. That's gonna hang down on this nice little strap, and your sink will start draining whatever water is inside of it. That's gonna be it for the back. Oh, and then you do have your nice little camping stove here, just with the two sides that fold down, lock into place. At the left driver's side of the unit, if you open up this little door, which has no lock, you do have your little propane tank to turn the propane onto the unit. It's just turning that on. You can come to your stove now here and turn it over to the light option. With that on the light option, just holding it down, hit it with the sparker. Now sometimes it can take a minute just to clear all the air out of the lines. So if it doesn't light within the first few tries, don't panic, just give it a minute and it lights right up. Always making sure you let this cool down before you close this top, that way it doesn't get hot. And just whenever you're opening it or closing this lid, always just giving it a little pull, because pulling it is just unlocking it from the position it's in. If you try to open it with it pushed back, it's not going to want to open nicely, and you do have the chance of bending something. about it. In the back of the unit, I showed you the propane tank on this side. This little vent here is just for battery venting. And then you come down and you do have your little power plug-in. Just take a note of that notch here. It lines up with this notch on the trailer side. You line those two up, push it into each other and give it that 8th turn to lock it in. And then you got the threaded collar to really lock it down. Following that cord back, you do come to a standard 30 amp plug end. Most campsites should have this, so you can plug right on in. But let's say you're at home and you want to run the fridge, or you're at a campsite that doesn't have 30 amp service. We do include a 15 amp park adapter, which is exactly like this. Just keep it in mind, you are going down to only 15 amps of power, so the only thing I wouldn't be running on here is your air conditioner. And it just plugs right on in and you come up. This plug here is just for a solar panel plug-in if you were to want to get one. And then you just have a coax inlet for your TV. Right up here is just how you would, your little water station. So this cap on this side does your freshwater tank. You'd be able to fill it from here. And then this on this side is called your city water connection. So if you plug in a garden hose to this end here, turn the water on, it should pressurize all the lines inside the unit and there's no need to run that water pump. You do have access to the inside from both sides of the unit. In the front here, you'll notice this little door. You just take in your key. It is just your little silver key. It should say 751. You'll get one with the unit. It just goes in there. You give that a turn and it'll pop open. Now this is the little holding tank for the toilet that's inside. The way that works is you see that little tab there. You just grab that, pull it, and this whole thing comes out. And this is how you would drain it. This is how you would drain it if it were to become full. To get it back into the unit, it's just sliding it in, locking it into place, and just closing that door, locking it up. You do have a tongue jack. One way's up, the other way's down. What you can do is once you have this all the way down and the weight is supported onto your tow vehicle, you can grab this pin and flip that jack arm back or forward. This unit does have an awning here. The way that works is you just undo that zipper. It's going to unfold a tent style canopy, and you do have suction cups that suction onto the side of the trailer, and that's how you would hold it down. It also has pegs. Opening up this door here on your left is just, you got your main light button. That turns on all the interior lights in the main space. And then you have your porch light option, which turns on the porch light on the outside here. And then your front accent lights. So that does just turn on some accent lights in front of the unit. Could be nice if you're trying to empty that tank at night. And then just your cabin accents. So that just turns on the blue lighting that's inside here. You do get this nice remote to use your fantastic fan, your max air fan above your head. The way that works is pretty simple. You do just have a power button on that. That'll turn it on and off, and hitting that button does automatically open the roof vent. Now you can adjust how much the roof vent is open and closed with these plus or minus buttons. And then you can decide which way the air comes in, or whether the air is sucking in or whether the air is blowing out, just by pushing this button here. And hitting that button again will just close the fan and turn it off. At the front, you do have, this will be the main source of heat inside this unit, and it is just like a touch screen style button. So you just hit that button and that turns it on, and then you can change the color of the lights with the two middle buttons. And then the far right button does just change the temperature. So it goes all the way up to, I believe, 99 degrees, and it starts at 41 degrees, and you can just turn it off. We do have an LP detector inside this unit, so if that guy starts going off, you are just going to want to turn off the main supply of propane to the unit. Open up the windows and turn on that fan to try and evacuate some of the fumes, and then right above there is just your little fuse slash breaker panel. Whenever a breaker pops, it's going to sit in the middle, so you just have to turn it off and then back on again to reset it. And then right here, you do have your fuse panel. Whenever a fuse blows, you are just going to get a little red light on top there telling you which one's blown. And then behind the TV, it is on its own little swivel mount, and fully clicking into place will lock it in. You do have coax cables that connect to the TV, so you can play the sound through the radio, as well as a plug-in with room for another thing to be plugged in. But whenever you are traveling, you are just going to want to make sure that TV is locked in its mount. And then right next to that just is the stereo. That's going to be pretty much just like home, except you have the Zone A and Zone B. Zone A is your interior speakers inside this main living space. Zone B would be the exterior speakers that are inside the kitchen area. You also do have this nice little couch setup here. We have it set up against this wall. These are just movable cushions, so you can do whatever you would like with them. They do say once you fully unfold them, it does turn into a little mattress for the inside here if you're to want that for sleeping. And then the air conditioner is just your regular window style air conditioner. You can choose which way the air blows with these louvers. And then you do just have the controls on the left here. So you hit that power button, it is going to turn it on. And then you have your energy saver mode. You could change your options, so you can have auto, which is going to become an on-demand system, so it's going to do whatever it needs to do to reach the temperature that you set. And then you have cool, so it's going to be blowing. That's when the air conditioner takes into effect, and it'll blow that air out at whatever set fan speed you set it at, whether that be low, high, or medium. And then you have dry, so that's going to be just a mixture of the AC kicking in and out with the fan to try and remove some of the moisture out of the air, and then you can just run it on fan. Whenever this light lights up, check filter. That's just letting you know that you should be checking the filter on this unit. To turn that light off, you just hit that button and it'll automatically turn itself off. And then you do also have a sleep mode. Whenever you hit that sleep mode button, it is just going to turn the air conditioner to sleep and not allow it to turn back on until you hit that button again. And then you do have a timer option, which is right here. So you could set it on a timer to run for however long you would like it to run it for. To check that filter, you do just pop this front fascia off. Once you get that front fascia off, there is just a little filter behind there. You just got to blow it off with air and put it back in. At the front of the unit, inside this little compartment, is where we include this nice tool here, which I'm going to show you how to use once we hop out. It's going to be to run the jacks up and down. Here's that 15-amp park adapter I told you about and showed you, as well as your 25-foot water hose we included in the unit. You have two cup holders back here, as well as these nice little reading lights that you could turn on and off. And then just right under here is where your toilet is located. So that works pretty simple. You just open this up, do your business, and this button here is how you would flush it. And then on the other side is the same thing, just a storage compartment. And you do have nice little coat hooks on the wall as well. And once you take a step outside the unit, you're just going to take this little tool to the back unit here. You got these little notches here. They line up with the notches on this shaft. One way's down, one way's up. Once this foot does reach the ground, just give it another 1/8 quarter turn just to snug it up. And all that's going to do is stabilize the unit and take any sway or bounce you see we have in the unit right now. Keeping in mind, this is a short trailer. So if you are inside this unit, while it isn't hooked up to your tow vehicle, the trailer could tip back. So just being mindful of that whenever the stabilizer jacks aren't down, to not be horsing around too much inside. That's going to be about it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.